Good morning, traders. I am Emily Bonney, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Wednesday, July 24th. We hit midweek as investors to continue to sift through big earnings and await key economic data due out tomorrow. Yesterday during regular trading, markets were muted but ultimately ended in the red. The Dow dropped 57 points or 0.14%. The S&P 500 gave up 8 points or 0.16%. The Nasdaq lost only 10 points or 0.06%. Bill, let's get into Wednesday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are down 0.79, almost 0.8%. You know, that's a pretty weak opening, I got to tell you. And what's causing it? I mean, the earnings results from big tech. I mean, Tesla's profit margins were the worst in 5 years. They're offering price cuts, incentives, kind of like weigh on, their revenues. Google, they did deliver a beat, but they did show some caution in, advertising sales, which is really kind of hurting the stock. And, the CapEx expenses are pretty high. Later today, earnings are in focus today. There's no question about it. This is what's driving the market today. This afternoon, we got earnings coming out from IBM, ServiceNow, KLAC, Ford, Chipotle, and others. I saw that Visa report yesterday indicated that consumer spending is softening. That's not a positive. It is kind of a light news day today because everything is focused on stock-specific earnings. We do see that President Biden's going to be addressing the nation this evening. That could be something. We're keeping an eye on, what's going on overseas in the overseas markets, and we're, looking specifically at Europe. And we're seeing weakness in Europe. There's no question about it. I mean, the DAX is down 125 points or 0.68%. I will say that, the German PMI data came in weak, 48.7 versus 50.4 in June. That's helping to push prices a little lower. The FTSE's down flat. I mean, it's flat to lower, down, 0.02%. So, that's not seeing the big drop as Europe in Germany and France, because France is down hard. France is down about 1%, 75 points. Luxury stocks this morning in France are taking a hit. That big one, LMVH, is trading lower off of earnings, so they're seeing some weakness there. Looking at Asia last night, Asia was lower across the board. I mean, the Nikkei dropped 439 points. That's 1.1%, 1.11%. Hong Kong fell 158 points. That's 0.9%. And Shanghai Composite dropped 13 points, or 0.46%. In Japan, the Nikkei, the yen's gaining. The yen's rising because guess what? There's going to be it's very likely that the Bank of Japan is going to raise interest rates next week when they have their central bank meeting. Hong Kong, those downbeat earnings from the mega tech stocks, along with weakening economic activity in China, really leading to the losses there. And then you look at China. I mean, almost all sectors were weak. Next week there's a Politburo meeting, and there's not a lot of hope for a stimulus package to come out of that meeting. So as a result, you're seeing that index continue to sell off. Oil, on the other hand, we're keeping an eye on oil. Oil is trading higher. It's up over 1% this morning. You got WTI at $77.96 a barrel. You got Brent at $81.89 a barrel. That's coming back from yesterday's losses. So, what's causing it is really the API stockpiles data, which indicated a draw of 3.9 million barrels for last week. This is the fourth straight week of falling crude oil inventories, and that's a positive. But the real figure's going to be happening today at 10:30 when we get the official numbers. This could cause some volatility in the oil market. So you got to wait for 10:30, that report from the EIA to come out. Those numbers are going to be key to oil's move today. But that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update, Emily.
Bill, as you mentioned in there, really eyes are on those stock-specific earnings, and we're keeping track of those right here on NewsWare's Trade Talk because you have an alert set up for that earnings action. So as those reports hit the tape, you get them first. You're not waiting for other outlets to pick them up and then publish them. You're seeing that data right away. We have a number of big names, big tech that were in focus and continue to be in focus this morning, and some to look ahead to. So Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings action?
Looking at Visa, ticker V, EPS came in line with expectations, but it was done on lower revenue. Stocks down 3.79% or $10. We're looking at Google, ticker GOG. They beat by 5 cents and it was done on higher revenue. Stocks trading down about 3.93% this morning. Tesla, they missed by 10 cents on higher revenue. You look at shares of Tesla, they're down 8.50% this morning. Yeah, that's not good. And then they pushed back some key announcements that were expected for April to October. But coming up this afternoon after the bell, we got KLA, ticker KLAC, Kilo Larry Apple Charlie. Their EPS is $6.08 with an expected move of 7.11%. You got ServiceNow, ticker NOW, Nancy Oscar William. Their EPS is $2.85. Expected move is 6.98%. Then IBM, they're also releasing after the bell. Their EPS is $2.16. Expected move is 5.95% when they release this afternoon, Emily.
Well, Bill, again, keeping track of all of that because you have your NewsWare set up for those earnings, grabbing those earnings, grabbing those as they happen. You're also keeping track of economic reports. You did mention that stockpile reports in your opening, but give us a rundown of all the economic events we should be watching today.
Well, 9:45 a.m. we get the composite flash reports, the PMI composite flash reports. Then at 10 a.m. we get the new home sales, which is going to be interesting. And obviously 10:30 we get the EIA oil stockpiles report. You look at the home sales, which are scheduled for this morning. You expected to see, a 3.4% increase following May's 11.3% decline. This report's going to be kind of key to assessing the state of the housing market, especially given the differences between new home and existing home sales. But the market is challenged. The market is challenged due to higher interest rates and elevated pricing, and it's kind of preventing first-time home buyers from getting in. So it is cautious. We'll have to wait and see how the new home sales come in. But that's a key economic report for today, Emily.
And Bill, you're not only keeping track of that earnings action and all those key economic reports, but you're also watching other types of this morning: merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news. You're looking at your stocks grouped together, your FANG stocks, important trend with big tech, and also your Dow 30 stocks. All of this using NewsWare, breaking it down into those alerts. So Bill, break it down for us.
Doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 24 lower and 6 higher. That's not good. But my FANG stocks are all in the red. Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, Meta, Tesla. They're all trading lower this morning. So it's gonna be a red morning. That's for sure. You're looking at Apple, and India is said to be cutting import duties, which would help the company. But I see that Spain regulators are reviewing their treatment of App Store developers by Apple. But the broker comments overall on Apple are positive this morning. We're looking at Amazon. Amazon, there's a report out there this morning that they lost $25 billion between 2017 and 2021 on their home devices, which is, their Alexa type apps. But you got to remember that they really control that market, that home smart speaker market. That's controlled by Amazon. Google has one, never really took off. Apple has Siri, but it's so small. I mean, it's nothing compared to Apple's home device that they have. So you got to appreciate the losses because they can turn into gains overnight. Google, their advertising sales growth showed slowness in the second quarter. Tesla delays their robo-taxi announcement. They said they're going to be unveiling that announcement in October. It was supposed to happen in August. So that delay is kind of concerning. We're looking at Dow Jones 30 stocks. We're looking at Boeing. China accepts Boeing 737 MAX deliveries again, according to Aviation Week. UNH, yesterday, middlemen, UNH, Cigna, CVS, the Fed House probe finds that these drug middlemen were pushing patients to pricier medicines. Not good. You're looking at shares of UNH down slightly this morning. Moving on into merger news, KKR. I see that KKR is going to be buying Janney Montgomery Scott from Penn Mutual. That's kind of a positive. Johnson Controls, ticker JCI, they're selling, Johnson Controls and Hitachi, they're selling their air conditioning operations to Bosch in an $8.1 billion deal. Guidance news, Texas Instruments, they see Q3 EPS coming in at $1.24 to $1.48. Street estimates $1.36. Not bad. Seagate, ticker STX, they see Q1 adjusted EPS coming in at $1.40 plus or minus 20 cents. Street estimate was $1.16, so that's an uptick on STX. Boston Scientific's BSX, they see Q3 EPS coming in 57 to 59 cents. Street estimates 57 cents. It's not bad. We'll take it. In terms of shareholders meetings, Massimo, ticker MASI, Michael Apple, Sam India. Now, these guys are going to be having a shareholders meeting tomorrow. And this is a big announcement because remember, they got sued by a hedge fund recently, claiming they weren't giving straight answers. So they're having the shareholders meeting earlier. So to keep an eye on MASI, Michael Apple, Sam India for their shareholders meeting tomorrow morning. In terms of buyback news, Cintas, ticker CTAS. These guys announced a 1 billion share buyback plan. Telnet Healthcare, ticker THC. They announced a new 1.5 billion share repurchasing plan. That's big, but the shares are trading off this morning. In terms of catalyst calls, I see JP Morgan placed Apple on the catalyst call watch list, and they raised the price target on the stock. That's worthwhile to note. But that's what I have for you in terms of news sitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is the pick of the day today?
Going with RTX Corp, ticker RTX, Richard Tom X-Ray. Earnings are out tomorrow morning. EPS is $1.29. Expected move is 4.39%. Look at yesterday's call volume. 19,273 versus 7,851. It's more than 2 to 1. That's positive. Open interest, 200,163 versus 124,832. Positive. Major brokers are positive on the stock. I'm seeing price targets being raised. I like to see that. Now, I'm hoping to get in 104.25 to 104.50. I think that's very doable. I think the stock will open up a little weak along with the market. The question is how weak. I mean, it could fall down to 104 or, even 103.90. I don't think it'll go much lower than that. But I do expect to see some positive action in RTX after the earnings announcement. So RTX, that's my play for today. That's what I'm going to be looking for. But if I can get out with a 1% gain during the day, I'm going to take it and walk. But that's my pick, RTX, Richard Tom X-Ray, Emily.
Bill, a couple days in a row here, trading ahead of earnings, looking for a specific entry price, putting those data points together, taking the gain when you see it. And we will see tomorrow if that strategy works. And coming up, we're going to do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day to see how it worked yesterday. So don't go anywhere. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Boeing, ticker BA, they're going to be providing digital flight operation solutions for Ryanair. That's positive for Boeing. Goldman's coming out with 6 new catalyst-based ideas on Apple, Snowflake, IBM, and eBay. Jacobs, ticker J, was awarded a contract from the FBI. CrowdStrike CRWD says undetected error in rapid response content caused outage. Pfizer, PFE, Pfizer's hemophilia gene therapy candidate shows positive phase 3 results, PFE. That's interesting. NVIDIA clears Samsung's HBM3 chips for use in China's market processors, according to sources. Interesting. Ticker CC Chambers, a federal appeals court on Tuesday dismissed a lawsuit by the chemical manufacturer against the Biden administration challenging a drinking water advisory for toxic forever chemicals. Not good. Delta company reported fewer cancellations as it looks to return to normal after canceling more than 6,000 flights on Friday. Sage Therapeutics, ticker SAGE, they plan to cease development of Sage-324 as phase 2 study disappoints. This happened yesterday. Disney, Isaac Perlmutter selling his entire Disney position, weighs on the stock yesterday. Still causing a little bit of an overhang, but the guy sold 25 million shares. You got to find a home for that, so it's going to take a while. But it, Disney's undervalued right now. It's undervalued, especially because you got Moana 2 coming out in November. I mean, that's going to be huge. I mean, that's a franchise. Moana's a franchise, and those sales will be strong. Those ticket sales will be strong. So Disney at 90 is cheap. That's what I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we sign off on this Wednesday and get to trading, let's do a quick check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was International Paper, ticker IP. They did release earnings this morning. The company released an adjusted earnings per share of 55 cents, which was well ahead of the consensus estimates of 41 cents. However, the revenue for the quarter was slightly below expectations at $4.73 billion. This was compared with $4.78 billion. Now, Bill, you were trading this one yesterday. The stock's taking a hit this morning, but you've mentioned it's sort of a red day. Tech in general is taking a hit, but you were looking for a gain yesterday. How did your call work out?
Well, I made money on the stock. That's what's the key here. Now the stock opened up at $46.09, but then it fell down to $45.52. That's kind of what I was looking for. It was 45.50 to 46, somewhere around there. I got in 45.60 area, and then it stock rallied it up to 46.12. I got out 46.08, so I didn't make 1%. I made like 0.75%. I'm happy with the win. I didn't really. I knew with all these other earnings coming out, with them being negative, I was really concerned. So I took my gains yesterday during the day. I was happy with it. Walked away. I'm smiling. I'm upset because it didn't achieve the. It kind of did achieve the 1%, but you really had to get in at the low of the day, and that's just too hard to do. But I was real close to making the 1% yesterday, but I made a profit, so I was happy at the end of the day, Emily.
We will take that as a win, and we will check in with you tomorrow about today's RTX pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Bonney, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.